what is oneness? Oneness is going back. If you read books you maybe shouldn't be reading, Necronomicon, it talks about in the beginning when they first came here. Remember, they was on Nibiru. Okay. And they came here. Okay. Why did they come here? Because they needed gold for the hole in their atmosphere. And they crossed the broken bracelet to come here. The broken bracelet was not the asteroid belt. They crossed the Oort cloud. They crossed into our solar system. And they found the Earth. And they talk about in that book that when they first came here, that the elder gods and the ancient one was one and the same. This was before the war. Okay, what war? Well, we got that war in heaven that we talk about sometimes. That was around 15,000 years ago. There was a war that was fought. And that what broke the oneness into dualism. You didn't know about that. So let's go back even before. Okay, because what a lot of people do not know is that there was not one war. And, let's talk about this for a second. Because most people think that we're an island and we're in space and there's no one else out there. This is totally wrong. What's going on, what you see in Star Trek and Babylon 5 and all these shows is a microcosm of what's really going on in space. Space is habitated by a lot of different, so many forms of life. Is amazing. But where we live is kind of in a backwatered place. And we'll get into why they try to keep contact away from us. And there's a lot of alien beings on this planet, but they live separate from us. Okay. So since we're on that subject, let's talk about that. If you look at the back of the dollar bill, you will see the pyramid. The pyramid shows the structure. The pyramid, of the steps of the pyramid, there's 13 levels. Those are the 13 levels that control life on this planet. We are controlled through 13 levels of government. Okay. Now, after the 13 levels, there's a space. And then there's the eye. Because once upon a time, the eye, the top of the pyramid was connected to the pyramid. This is back when we read the old books that the gods live among man. The gods no longer live among man. They put a space between man and God. That's why there's a blank spot between man and God. And when we mean gods with little g's. Because these are these beings, you could call them the Anunnaki. There's a lot of these different types of beings. But they live in something called, what we see in these movies, they're trying to tell us something in a lot of these movies we talk about. The gods live in something called Asgard. Okay. We live in something called Midgard. Okay. So when you see movies, especially about Thor, when he goes to Asgard, he flies this way. But if you Google Asgard, it will tell you that Asgard is this direction. Asgard is the inside of the earth. Midgard is the outside of the earth. So Thor does not go this way. He goes this direction. Okay. And this is where they live. They live inside of the planet and what is called the hollow earth. The earth is not really hollow, but the point of it is the earth have these big caverns inside of it. And they live there, which they talk about hyperbole. If you go back into the old Greek books, which was the summer home of Apollo. Okay. And this is where they live. So we're going to be talking more about that later. But anyway, we started off that when they came here, they was one and the same. Because this was before the war. And there have been a lot of wars on the earth, and there have been a lot of wars everywhere. And that movie you like to see about, the Star Wars movies. The Star Wars is nothing but a fictional representation of the war that was fought in heaven. This war that was fought in heaven was a massive war, and that is what the Star Wars movies represent. But they made some changes to it to make it where we can understand it more. Okay, so in the movie Star Wars, archangels carry very long swords, which glow, and they switch that in the movie to their lightsabers, so they get to fight all the time. It's good and exciting and whatever, but there's that war going on, and that is what it caused the dualism, the splitting of the light. So before, but then I told you there was two wars that was fought in heaven above us. There was a war that was 15,000 years ago, and there was a war that was fought 1,000,000 years ago. Okay, the war that was fought 1,000,000 years ago, we know nothing about that war. All the records have been sealed. They say there is no one still alive who has any memory of that war. But that war was a massive war, which covered a lot of our galaxy. And in that war, something called our star constellation sovereign was replaced. He was kicked out. What is a star constellation sovereign? A lot of this stuff is explained in something called the Urantia book. So if you take our galaxy and if you split it into 100 pieces, you will get the part of space in which we live in. Okay. So let's say we live in Texas. Okay. That is the place we live in. Okay. And our star constellation sovereign was the governor of our state. He was kicked out for some reason, and this started a giant war, which was 1,000,000 years ago. Now, what that war was over, we don't know everything, but the war was massive. The only thing we know about that war is that in that war, there was a giant battle that was fought in our solar system. Okay. And that battle destroyed a lot of our solar system. This is why in all these movies, they always keep talking about a planet killer. Because in the war that was fought 1,000,000 years ago, a planet killer was used. We do not know what a planet killer is. So in all these science fiction movies, from Star Trek, the planet killer was this thing that looked like an ice cream cone. In Babylon 5, it was this big giant ship that looked like a crab. And in Star Wars, it looks like the Death Star. We don't know what a planet killer looked like. But in the war of 1,000,000 years ago, a planet killer was used in our solar system, and it destroyed the planet that was located between Mars and Jupiter. It blew it up. Okay. This was the planet that the angelic forces was on. And by destroying of that planet, the asteroid belt was created. And Mars was permanently damaged. And this is why science keep talking about that life did not start on Earth. Life actually started on Mars and came to the Earth. Because if you go back, this is where Mars was, and this is why we have over 15 space probes going all around Mars right now. Because Mars has a lot of very strange things and a lot of very old ruins of the old civilization that used to live there. And there's a lot of very old equipment that is there. And some of this old equipment, even though it's tens of thousands of years old, is more advanced than anything we have, thousands and thousands of years more advanced than anything we have today. And this is why we have a lot of space probe going around Mars and we actually have part of the secret space program investigating some of that. But on Mars, we are not there alone. There are, you have some alien groups up there and you have some other activity. And Mars is not a very nice place, okay, because they're doing whatever they're doing up there and they do not want to be disturbed. And it can get very messy up there. But anyway, back to us. So that is where the original thing that was fought was this war that was fought a long time ago. And our star constellation sovereign was deposed. Okay. And then from that war, how that war ended, then you had another war that was fought 15,000 years ago. And this is the war that we know about today. How did this war get started? Because they started to fill all of the empty positions from the last war. Unlike us, we always feel empty positions from the top going down. They filled the positions from the bottom going up. And when they got to naming the new star system sovereign, there was a problem. Okay. The guy that was supposed to have been chosen, who was the most popular person, was Satan of Satana, and he was not chosen. They brought someone from outside our area, Michael of Narbondan, and he was given rulership. And that started the war. Okay. And that is the war that is still going on. This war has been going on for 15,000 years, but it is now a Cold War. And when this war first broke out, it was a very hot war. And if you had a time machine, a lot of this is written in the Hindu text. And I'm just going to tell you a little bit about things you don't know about. About in the Hindu text, they talk about this battle that was fought when the war first broke out. Because the earth had two moons at that time. We had the moon we had, and there was a giant space station that also orbited the earth. And during that war, that space station was shot down and came crashing down upon the earth, which is written in the Hindu text. And that giant space station landed on the Ural Mountains in Russia. This is why in Russia they keep finding all these strange electrical components and things which are thousands of years old. It's from the old space station. Okay. Also, the planetary capital of our world was destroyed. Our planetary capital was a crystal city which was located on an island, which we now call the island of Atlantis. I don't know what the name of it was, but that island was destroyed. And our new planetary capital was located inside the Earth. Okay. But since that time, the world have turned cold. But that split what we call the oneness into dualism. So at first we got to explain what was the oneness. The oneness was what you talk about in Star Wars. You had the government of space, or you had the empire. And the empire was all powerful, all ruled everything. And then the rebellion started. And the rebellion started, this is why in Star Wars we're always cheering for the rebels. Because we live in something called rebel held space. So it depends on which book you're reading. If you read the Bible, it talks about how the devil was defeated and he was thrown down to the earth. Or if you read the demonic Bible and other books you shouldn't be reading, it talk about how the rebel forces defeated the government forces and they took possession of the earth. So if they took possession or if they was defeated, and they both here either way. We're still on their world and they run this world. If they took possession of it by force or if they was defeated and thrown here by force, they're still here. And since they've been here all this time, their ruler when they came down we know him by the god Zeus that ruled our world. And this is talked about in the book of Genesis, where they talk about the men of renown. The men of renown is the god myths. And if you go around the world, the god myths are one and the same. The only thing is the name of the gods vary in every language. Okay. And what we have done today, which you definitely don't know about, is we know what the god's name is in several different languages. And how you can figure that out is because their name would change, but their title would stay the same. Okay. So, we know who is who. Like, for example, Zeus was his Greek name. His Roman name was Jupiter. And his Nordic name was Odin. It's the same guy. Okay. So, he ruled until But Zeus was a lover of women. He always had a lot of women friends, and he was making something called demigods all the time. Have women, have men, and that was creating more and more of a problem. Until a war broke out on Earth, which started a war among the rebels on the Earth, and Zeus was overthrown by his son Apollo. And Apollo still rules today. This is why in the Bible it says the name of the devil is Apollyon. Apollo is the ruler who rules. And in those movies you like to watch, I'll tell you which superhero is Apollo. Okay. Because when you see Superman, in all the movies, they always ask Superman, does the S on your chest stand for Superman? He says no. It stands for my family. Okay, Superman is the son of Joel. El means God. He's the son of the god Jo, which is the son of the god Jupiter. The son of the god Jupiter is Apollo. So Superman's real name is Apollo. That's the reason he has power. Okay. But we have made all of this into cartoons. We have made all of this into movies. We have made all of this. So we're still doing the same thing that was doing in the God myths, but we just made it into modern movies. And these are still the men of renown. We still talk about them. But going back again, and I'm skipping around because we have limited time and I got a lot to cover. Okay. Now, we was all under oneness. We was all ruled by one until the rebellion came along, which split into the duality, which you're going to be ruled by the government, or you're going to be ruled by the rebels. The government forces was ruled by Michael, and the rebel forces was ruled by Satan. Okay, and they had two different philosophies. Okay. The philosophy of the government forces is they believe in rulership from above, where everything, all decisions are made from above and come down. Okay. And the local people are just doing they're just following the orders of the people upstairs. Okay. And under the government forces, everything throughout the galaxy is about work and progression. That is the meaning of life. The Urantia book goes very deep into government-run planets. On government-run planets, everything is about progression. Mental, spiritually, and emotional progression. All art, all education, everything is about progression, which would be similar to how it is in Islam or how it used to be back before the Renaissance period in Europe. If you was a painter, you could only paint biblical scenes. All music had to be about religion. Okay. This is why during the Renaissance, when they broke that and they start making pictures of fruit, people was amazed. Why would you paint a bowl of fruit? Or people was amazed about painting of the Mona Lisa. Why would you paint a woman? She's not a saint. She's not an angel. She's just a regular woman. Why would you do that? It was just so mind-blowing to them. Because before that, for thousands of years, everything had to be about religion. That was the oneness. Okay. But on the rebel side, they don't believe in oneness. They believe in something called, they're against the principle of work. They believe the purpose of life is enjoyment. This is why we work for the weekend. See, we work 5 days a week so we can have fun on the weekend. Because the purpose of working is enjoyment. On the government side, the purpose of working is advancement. Okay. It's like in the military. You work hard, not so you can take the weekend off. You're working hard so you can get that promotion, so you can get that advancement. The military is still under the old system. But we work hard so we can have fun on the weekend. That is the purpose of life. And that is what the rebel side believe in. Okay. Now, everything has evolved. A lot of people know, that Abraham is the father of 3 religions. Abraham is the father of Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. But if Abraham is the father of religion, then let's talk about the grandfather of religion, which would be Zoroaster. Okay. And Zoroaster goes back into the super deep stuff. Okay. Because before Zoroaster, gods was like human beings. They did good and bad things. Zeus did some good things, he did some bad things. He was not a totally good person or a totally bad person. Zoroaster is the one who came up with the principle that there is an all good God and an all bad God. And there's the light and the darkness. And it's the light versus the darkness. And you have to be on one side or the other side. He's the one who put that line there. Before, there was not really a line. But ever since Zoroaster, the world has been split. And the light don't like the darkness. And the goal of every religion, from Christianity to Islam, is to conversion. Okay. And this is why, wherever American troops go, we take our religious people with us. And they slipping Bibles out as they go. And Islam does the same thing. Every religion does the same thing because it's the point of us versus them. Okay. This is the splitting of people. But it just didn't stop in religion. You had oneness. Then you got into dualism. But dualism keeps splitting the people up. First, people were split by religion. They were split by race. They were split by social class. The thing of it is, you keep splitting people into as many possible areas where you can split them. And why do people need to be split? Because what the Germans found out in World War II. The Germans could have a city of 100,000 people, and there was only 5,000 or 10,000 Germans holding the city. Okay. Because if you keep so much, pardon my French, shit going on in the city and everybody hating each other and fighting each other and doing everything like that, they're so busy killing each other, they don't have time to rise up against you. Okay, so when Germany took a city, they always put the Jews against these people and these people against those people. And they kept so much stuff going on. This is what they're doing here. It's not that many. If we knew how few aliens were listed, there's a few 100,000, maybe 1 million of them. But the earth has 7 billion of us. But as long as we're fighting and killing each other and doing all this crazy stuff and whatever, we cannot unite. And this is why they got to keep us separated and split in so many different ways. So we cannot stay together. We will all be in all these different directions. And by doing this, it keeps us where we cannot stand as one people. And in the modern era, it even got even worse because now they have got us down because of computers and technology. They have broken us all the way down to the individual. Now, a lot of people, when you go to restaurants, when you go everywhere, no one talks to anybody no more. Everybody is stuck on their cell phone, on their tablet, on their this. Everybody hates everyone that's not a member of their family who don't. Okay, They have got us down to 7 billion individuals. Okay. And this is great for them. But because of this, a problem has arose. Socrates said 2,500 years ago that once humans' basic needs are met, which are food, housing, and shelter, that the human mind would start to evolve about why is the grass green, why is the sky blue, what is on the other side of that mountain. We don't have that problem today because we're too busy hating the Democrats, the Republicans, the whites, the Mexicans, this and that. We're so busy worrying about Easter's. You know, we just had Valentine's Day and now Easter's coming. The new iPhone is out. You know, there's so much stuff going on. We never worry about anything. We stay dazed and confused 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We never evolve into nothing. And this is how they control us. Okay. This is terrible. And in the year, and we might say, oh, that guy's talking crazy. Now, I'm a Gnostic. I read all the heavy, deep stuff, which you definitely should not be reading. And what bothers me, when I'm reading books about like the Greys or reading book about trying to figure out who the Anunnaki is and where they came from and this and that and whatever, and I got all these heavy questions. I read a book that's 500-700 years old, and they're asking the same question I am today. See, we think that the Greys was something that was invented off of TV, off of the X-Files. And before 1947, there was no aliens. This alien thing is a modern thing that was just invented. What most people don't know, in Jesus' day, there was people called Gnostics, and they talked about in their books about these creatures that looked at like aborted fetuses that had a hatred of men. Okay. And they was conspiring against them. Okay. This stuff goes on forever. You know, some of the Egyptian pharaohs in the 5th dynasty BC was talking about these shields in the sky that was doing different things and whatever. And this is 2020, and we're still talking about, oh, I saw this light in the sky last night. This is crazy. We have not evolved at all. And in the year 2634, we'll still be asking, are we alone in space? Is there any? And they're just laughing and giggling and everything. Okay. And now, to even make it even worse, we don't even consider, you know, when you tell people today that humans are a type of animal, we're no damn animal. And people want to go out there and slaughter everything and kill everything, pollute everything. They want to destroy the rainforest and burn up everything and kill everything. And why are they burning the rainforest down? So they can have more cattle. Okay. We don't give an F about nothing and nothing. Okay. We're destroying our own planet. We poison our own food if we can make a profit. You don't see dogs killing other dogs. You don't see apes killing other apes. We're the only creature on this planet that does all this weird stuff. And then we have movies that reinforce these negative ideas. And I've been telling people this for a very long time. In every natural disaster, I don't care if you had the tsunami that killed 200,000 people 20 years ago, when you have volcanoes and earthquakes, the survivors come together and try to help one another. When you have flooding or whatever in your area, people go and try to help. What do they keep showing us in these zombie movies or in these natural disaster films? If you survive, you need to kill the other survivors. They're trying to implant that thought in our heads. Okay. Why do they want us to kill everybody? This is why I quit watching The Walking Dead. They kill more people than the zombies do. Okay. It's crazy. And do you want to know why they're trying to teach us this? Because in places like Russia, they have places in case of nuclear war, 1 million people can go into the street. China has places where 1 million people go under the street. In Scandinavia, they got places in the mountain where their entire population can go in the mountains where they have a year supply of food. In America, we have nothing. In case of disaster, nuclear war, we're supposed to duck and cover under our desk. But the corporations all got bunkers out there in the desert. All the rich people got bunkers. The government got all these what they call dumps, these deep underground bases everywhere. But they don't care about us. This is why if you survive, they want you to kill the other survivors. Now, what does this have to do with our subject? Because we got to get out of this craziness. The way we're going, which scientists keep talking about, is we're on the verge of being able to leave our world. Over the next 100 years, if we survive, we will have the technology to start exploring beyond our solar system. Not everybody is thrilled about that. There's a lot of people that are biting our nails. Because we are so destructive, so primitive, so barbaric. As our good friend Reagan said, he wanted America to be the first country to conquer space. Because, you know, space has been out of control for billions of years. We need to go out there and conquer. Okay. See, we're not going to explore. We're not going to understand. We're not going to We're going out there to conquer. The Catholic Church have already said, if we find alien life, they have the right to convert it to Christianity. See, they're not going out there to understand, and if they won't convert, you know what happened if you don't convert. Or do I have to remind you? Okay. I guess we'll be sending them to concentration camps, right? If they won't convert. You know what happened to the Indians? Okay. If you don't convert. You know what happened in Islam if you don't convert. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? This is the problem we have. This is why our little alien friends are biting our nails. And if they see us trying to leave our solar system, they might take us out real quick. Okay. Because we need to change. And we are the biggest threat to humanity. Not alien attack. Is your neighbor, is your friend, who is your biggest enemy, your biggest threat. Okay. Because we hate each other. And why do we hate each other? We don't even know. But the blacks hate the whites, and the whites hate this, and we hate the conservatives, and conservatives hate the. We got so many hate going on, we don't even know. Okay. But this we have to stop if we're going to survive. They took us at one time where we had oneness. We was all one people. We was something called man and woman. And they took us and they divided us over and over and over and over again. To where at first it was 2, then it was 4, and then it was 16, and then it was 32, and then it was 64, and now it's 7 billion. Okay, you get what I'm saying, don't you? Okay, they just keep dividing. Okay. But as I told you, this is coming to an end. Because if we make it, there's changes who are coming. Let's talk about these changes. Okay. If you're a Christian, you know that Jesus is returning on a flying horse to convert the world to Christianity. If you're a Muslim, you know the Mahdi is coming on a flying horse to convert the world to Islam. If you're Hindu, you know that Kalki is coming on a flying horse to convert the world to Hinduism. Isn't that the same story? It's told by different religions. Didn't they copy each other? Okay. The only one who has it right. Oh, and the Jews too. The Jews are waiting for the Savior to come to save them and to put the Jews on top of the nations, and the Jews are going to run the world. Okay. The only ones who got it right is the Buddhists. The Buddhists will tell you, Maitreya is coming. And Maitreya is not coming on a flying horse. When Maitreya comes, everyone will throw their gold and silver into the streets, and Maitreya will introduce the new Buddhism. What is the new Buddhism? Buddhism is the new teaching. See, when Jesus came, he did not convert people to Judaism. He converted them to the new religion. When Muhammad came, he did not convert the people to the old religion. He converted them to the new religion. When all the religious people come, and when do they come? Oh, we know. You don't know. They send someone to this world every 700 years, a minor prophet. What they call it, what we call a Melchizedek, a minor prophet. A major prophet is sent every 2,100 years to this world. Okay. And wouldn't you know, Jesus was 2,000 years ago. The next guy is coming. Okay. But he's not converting us to the old religion. He's converting us to the new religion. And the old religion is going to get thrown away. What is the new religion? I talked to them. They already told me. So you're going to get the heads up tonight. What is the new religion? The new religion that's going to be introduced is Singularity. Okay. This is the new religion. What is the Singularity? Because we got to get back to where we were. See, you don't see the black cats fighting the white cats that are fighting the caticos. If you're a cat, you're a cat. You don't see when you see dogs, dogs are dogs. They don't say, I'm not talking to those poodles over there. I'm not talking. No, the dogs are dogs. And if you're not careful, those dogs, they're doing everything. Okay. See, animals are animals. They are one. The dogs are one. The cats are one. Everybody's one. Except man. The singularity is that we are no longer black. We're no longer white. We're no longer Mexicans, this, that, all this other stuff. We are something called human beings. That's an amazing thought. We're humans. Oh my gosh. We're humans. We're just humans of different colors. Like they're cats of different colors. And we have to become one. And we not only have to become one with ourselves, we have to become one with nature. We have to become one with the animals. We have to become one with our little alien friends because they're planning on living among us. I already told you that. Oh, maybe we haven't got to that conversation yet. But in a few weeks, we're going to talk about the fake alien invasion. That we're going to have this invasion where they say that they're just arriving. They've been here forever, but they're going to pretend like they just arrived. It's going to be like the movie V, but because they want to put the pyramid, the top of the pyramid, back on the pyramid again. They want man and the gods to be together as one as the old days. Okay. And we will be one. Our alien friends, the animals, the earth, nature, the universe, even God. We're all one. And why are we one? Because what we have not realized, which science have already started to think about. See, when you look at the inside of our brain and you see all the neutrons and everything, they say, hey, I think I saw that picture before. When I look in deep space and I see all these galaxies and gas clouds and all this stuff, it looks very similar. Okay. And when we look at an atom, when we look at our solar system, they look very similar. See, what we don't realize is what creation was. Is that, see, we think that God took an aquarium and put some water in there and some rocks and did this little creation thing, and he goes over there and we're over there playing in that aquarium. That's not right. See, what creation was is God took himself and spreaded himself out. We are our planet is a single cell of him. And in your body, if your heart is fighting your kidneys and your kidneys is fighting your liver and everything like that, you're not going to survive. Because even though your body is made up of thousands of different parts, you got all these, things in your stomach and your nervous system, they all have to work together as one. Right? We all have to be one because we're all one with God, one with creation, one with the earth, one with the animals. We all have to be one. And what we're just finding out is if we destroy the animals, we end up hurting ourselves. And when we go and bulldoze nature and destroy nature, we end up hurting ourselves. And when we go over there and kill all those people over there, we end up hurting ourselves. We need to find peace among ourselves and become one. This is the singularity. We have to get back to oneness again. Now, how do we do this? Oh, that guy's still coming. I'm not the guy, so don't get scared. Don't be saying, I saw this guy. No. He's not here yet. Okay. I told you what his message is, what his teaching was. But we don't know when he's coming. See, everyone knew that the Messiah Jesus was coming. They just didn't know when he was coming. And some people was happy he was coming, and some people was mad. That's the reason Herod killed all the babies, because he wasn't too happy. Okay, this guy is coming, but it's not me. Okay, I'm only one of the people that's preparing the path for his arrival. That's why I have information that you don't have. Okay, but I'm not the only one. There's other people out there too. Okay. But I got information. I got knowledge. Okay. So, my thing is to prepare the way, to let you know. And why am I on this network telling you this? Because you are special. Because you're taking the time and effort to listen, to learn. Because you could be right now listening to the Kardashians or things like that, or watching, those shows where they, where they're buying houses and flipping them and all this stuff. No. But you're taking time because you want to better yourself. Because you know that to better yourself, it starts inside. That speck of genius, that speck of everything is inside of you. That is why I'm talking to you. Because you can be one of the ones that we have to survive this transition. And just like upstairs, I told you, See, we believe in transition from the top going down. No, it starts from the bottom going up. It starts with me. It starts with you. It starts with you talking to people that you know and start talking about, hey, we got to get rid of all this bullshit. Okay. Yes, yeah, sometimes some of this with technology is good. But this new iPhone looks exactly like the last iPhone. Why should I pay $1,000 to get an iPhone that looks exactly like the new iPhone just because I can brag to my friends that I that I got a new iPhone? I don't have nothing better to do. Okay. Think about it. You know, our goal should be, you know, we all need possessions. I'm not going to tell you to sell everything you have in your house and go around in white robes and be, you know, I'm not going to say that. Okay, because I got a few possessions too, as you know. But remember, we got to follow the advice of Socrates. Once you have your basic needs met, I think 90% of the people in America got our basic needs met. 50 times over. Do we really need 4 or 5 TVs in our houses? Okay. You know, I think our basic needs are met. Right? You know, some of us got these $10,000 kitchens. When is the last time you made more than just an egg in that thing? You get what I'm saying? Don't you? Okay. So we just need to stop and say, okay, I got my basic needs taken care of. I'm only going to replace what break. Now I'm going to start working on me and my family and my future. And my future is inside of me. I want to be a better person. I want to make this world a better place. And making the world a better place starts with you. Starts with me. And that's how we're going to get to the singularity. Remember, it's 2, then it's 4, and then it's 16, and then it's 32, and then it's 64, and we're going to take it all the way up until it's 7 billion. Amazing. Right? And we really don't care about these people who are the non-believers, because we're going to just slowly push them out of the way. Okay. And some of the world is trying to do some things. I was listening to the news the other day. And England is going to be banning cars. And France have already announced it in several other countries. You're not going to be able to drive a gasoline-powered car in England in 2035. A lot of European countries. America's planning on staying with gasoline until the year 3247. Okay, you get what I'm saying? We don't give a. Okay. We're even trying to reopen all the coal mines over here. We just don't give a. There's nothing you can do about those people if you need to do what you need to do. Okay. I would call those people Neanderthals, but that would be an insult to the Neanderthals if I did that. Okay. We need to move forward. We need to talk about our future world. And our future world can be this world which is beautiful, or it can be a nightmare on earth. Okay, and the way they're making it right now, for the rich people, this world is going to be a beautiful place, and for 99% of us, it's going to be a nightmare. And if we allow these corporations to do this to us, okay, but we don't have to do this. I have the power, you have the power, and it starts today.